Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we are going to see heat conduction through plane and composite wall. So this is lecture 4. And in the previous lecture, we have seen the general heat conduction equation in Cartesian coordinate. Okay. So with the help of that equation, we are going to derive an expression for heat conduction through plane wall as well as composite wall. So the topic name is my screen visible? Heat conduction through.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Plane and composite wall. Okay. Composite walls we can say. So in this, first we'll see the plane wall, we'll derive an expression for plane wall, and then we'll go for an expression for composite wall. Okay. So in this, let us derive an expression for heat conduction. Now in this chapter, we are only dealing with conduction. We are not going to convection and radiation. Okay. We are going to deal only with conduction through a plane wall. Now what can be the application of plane wall? We can just go through it. Okay, first we'll derive the expression and then we'll see what are the various applications for that. Okay, so in this we are going to consider the state where the wall is having a uniform thermal conductivity. Okay, so let us consider a wall. Okay. Which is having a thickness of L meters. The heat which is entering the wall is Q. Heat which is leaving the wall is again Q. So there is no storage of heat as well as there is no internal heat generation. So if the storage of the heat will be there, then this will be the amount will be lesser. And if there is a heat generation within the body, then the Q which is coming out from the wall, which will be at higher. So let us consider this is my T temperature. So at present, T1 is the higher temperature, T2 is the lower temperature, and the temperature profile will form somewhat like this. The temperature will go on reducing and it is going to reduce uniform. Okay, so there is no abrupt change. It is going to uniform. The temperature drop is uniform. We'll consider that this is my wall phase 1 and point 1 and point 2. So we need to take some points regarding in that. Okay. Now for derivation purpose, we have to consider some small thickness of the wall. Okay, so we'll consider a thickness of that wall as dx. Okay, so the thickness of the wall we can consider it as dx, and dt is the temperature gradient for that small thickness. Okay, so in that, if I want to write down the various terminologies which are involved in that, L is the length of, or we can say length of flow of heat or thickness of wall. Then A is the cross sectional area. K is the thermal conductivity, so which will be having a thermal conductivity of K. So K is the thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity of wall material. It is of wall. Whatever the material of wall is there, so it will be having its own thermal conductivity. T1 temperatures. Okay, T1 and T2 we can say. T1 and T2 is the temperature at 1 and 2. Okay, respectively. Whatever the temperature at phase, we can say temperature 1 and 2 wall surface. We can say this is at wall surface temperature. So what will happen? One end is at a higher temperature, other end of the wall is at the lower temperature. So heat will flow from the one surface of the wall to another surface of the wall. So it will always flow from the higher temperature to lower temperature. So let us use the heat conduction equation in Cartesian coordinates. So this is the equation which we are going to consider as it is. We have derived in the last lecture the general heat conduction equation. General heat conduction equation. Okay, so that equation says dou square T by dou x, or we can say dou x square plus dou square T by dou y square plus dou square T by dou z square plus Qg by K is equal to 1 upon alpha into dou T by dou tau. Okay, so in this we have to neglect some terms. Now, what are those terms which we are going to remove? Because what is happening here, there is no internal heat generation. Okay, no. So these are the assumptions which we are going to make. No internal heat which is generated. So this term tends to 0. Then similarly, it is not going to change with respect to time. Okay, time constant is also not going to change. So that also term we are going to take it 0. Then it is only unidirectional. So when we consider it as only in x direction, the heat flow is only in x direction, these terms will tend to 0, this terms tends to 0. So this expression will reduce in a form which will be dou square T upon dou x square is equal to 0. This is the final equation when we add some assumptions. So what are those assumptions? So the assumptions which we can say are no internal heat generation, no internal heat generation, then second is it is having we can say steady state condition. Yes, so it is having steady state condition. So what happens when steady state is there? Dou T by dou tau is equal to 0. And third is unidirectional, only in one direction. So that's why y and z term will be equal to 0. Okay, so our expression reduced to a simpler form. Okay, so in that now only one term is there. Okay, it is partial differentiation with respect to only x, so we can write d square T upon dx square is equal to 0. This we can write. Now integrating twice, we have to integrate the above equation. Integrating above equation differentially. Okay, integrating above equation, we are going to integrate twice. So that can be, first integration will be dt by dx is equal to constant c1, and the second integration will be t is equal to c1x plus c2. Okay, so c1x plus c2, this is after integration you will get this equation, t is equal to c1x plus c2, whereas c1 and c2 are called as arbitrary constant. c1 and c2 are arbitrary constant that we can find out with the help of applying boundary conditions. Sorry, how it is called as constants. Okay, arbitrary constants. Now how to get the value of c1 and c2? So for that c1 and c2 we need to apply boundary conditions. Now what are the boundary conditions? We'll see. And what is the definition of boundary conditions? Can anyone tell me what are the boundary conditions What is the definition of boundary conditions? Yes, it is an application of mathematics. Anyone? Boundary conditions? You can unmute yourself. 52 students are there. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible. Sir,
So-
boundary conditions are basically the limits we apply to solve any equation in a particular domain.
Yes,
So
yes,
we
correct,
set
correct.
some
So in
conditions.
that, so we have to find out the boundary conditions for this. So when t, what will be? When x is equal to 1, t is equal to t1. When x is equal to 2, then t is equal to t2. So what is that boundary condition? How we are going to apply? So at x is equal to 0, okay, t is equal to t1, and at x is equal to L means when x tends to length, what will be the temperature at point 2? Yes, what will be the temperature at point 2? At point 1 we can see the temperature is T1, so at point 2 the temperature will be T2.
T2.
Yes, so T is equal to T2. Now we have to substitute the boundary conditions in the above equation. So when we substitute the boundary condition, let us see what happens. So in the first, while applying the first boundary conditions, what will be the equation? How the equation will respond? Let's see. T1 is equal to x tends to 0. So this terms will be equal to 0 plus C2. Therefore, we can say that C2 is equal to T1. Okay, we got the value of C2. Directly we can get when x is equal to 0, this C1 into x. So this term C1 tends to 0 and T is equal to T1. Therefore, C2 is equal to T1. Now let us apply the second boundary condition. In the place of x, what we have to write? L, and in the place of T, what we have to write? T2. So T2 is equal to C1 L plus C2. In the form of C2, what we can write? It will be C1 L plus T1. Okay, so if I reduce this, it will be C1 is equal to T2 minus T1 upon L. Okay, so we got the value constant C1 and C2. So once the C1 and C2 is known to us, then we can again replace it in the main equation. So it will be, what is the value of C1? C1 is equal to T2 minus T1 upon L. So we have to write C1 is T2 minus T1 upon L and into x plus T2. What is the form of C2, which is equal to T1. So that equation will become bracket T2 minus T1 upon L bracket close x plus T1. Okay, so this is the expression. After simplifying, we got the expression. Now let us say we are going to use this expression in Fourier's law of conduction. So that Fourier's law of conduction states that Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx. Okay, Q is equal to minus Ka dt by dx, where this dt by dx is called as temperature gradient. So in this equation, we require the value of dt by dx, and t is there with us. So let us find out dt by dx now. Differentiate the above equation with respect to x. So in this, if I differentiate this equation with respect to x, what will be the simplified form of this? When we differentiate d by dx of T2 minus T1 upon L into x plus T1. So if it is a constant, right, independent, then it will be 10. So when we differentiate, this will remain, only the constant will come out of the bracket. So T1 upon, T2 minus T1 upon L into 1 plus 0. So dt by dx, we get this value as T2 minus T1 upon L. So substituting in the Fourier's law of equation, right, when we substitute that, it will become Q is equal to minus Ka. In place of dt by dx, we have to write it as T2 minus T1 upon L bracket close. Now if I want to adjust this negative sign, then I can write Ka into T1 minus T2 upon L. Okay, T1 minus T2 upon L. So again, this equation can be simplified. Q is equal to T1 minus T2 upon L by Ka. Okay. Now this term L by Ka term, okay, this term L by Ka is called as thermal resistance. So this equation can be written as T1 minus T2 upon RTH, where RTH is called as thermal resistance. RTH for conduction, you can write here conduction. RTH for conduction, which is called as thermal resistance for wall. Okay, thermal resistance for wall. If I want to now prepare a circuit diagram for the equation. So when we prepare a circuit diagram for this equation, now how we are going to write that circuit diagram? So for that, for preparing a circuit diagram, we have to consider a node 1 and this is my node 2. Okay, in between there is a resistance. Okay, and this resistance is nothing but RTH conduction. Okay, this is the resistance. T1 and T2 are the temperature and flow of heat is Q. So this will be the resistance diagram for a wall. If I want to draw a resistance diagram for any wall, we have to keep this in mind. So what is the final equation for Q? So final equation is so this is the final equation if I want to write for the okay. So Q is equal to T1 minus T2 upon L by K. If anyone asks the equation for wall, then it is nothing but Q is equal to T1 minus T2. So this is when it is having a uniform temperature difference. Okay. Now let us consider, and one more thing, for variable conductivity, variable thermal conductivity, we are just going to use the expression for that conductivity. We are not going to derive it. Okay, so derivation is not there for variable conductivity. So only uniform conductivity we are going to derive. Now let us see the next term, which is called as heat conduction through composite wall. Okay, I'll take it on new page so that I can draw it neatly. Okay, so the next term which we are going to learn is the heat conduction through composite wall. Okay, when we say it is a composite wall, means it will be made up of 3 different materials. Okay, it can be made up of 3 different materials. So when I draw the diagram, okay, so these are the 3 walls. So I can say this is having wall A, wall B, wall C. Heat flow through the wall is Q. Heat leaving the wall is again Q. There is no internal heat generation and it is not having any of the temperature, means there is no heat addition or heat rejection is not being there. Temperature at point 1 is T1 and temperature at point. So what will happen? The temperature will go on reducing. So at this interface it will be T2. Okay, then again it will reduce. This will become T3. Then again it will reduce. It will become T4. T1, T2, T3, T4. Where T1 is the temperature at the outer surface, intermediate surface in between A and B is T2, intermediate temperature between B and C is T3, and the outer surface temperature is T4. Similarly, it will have some its own thermal conductivities. So Ka, thermal conductivity of material A, Kb, thermal conductivity of material B, and Kc, thermal conductivity of material C. Similarly, it will be having a thicknesses, right? So 1, 2, and 3. So we can say it is having LA, LB, LC. So thickness of wall A, LA, wall B, LB, wall C, LC. Then it will be having a nodes. So we can write the nodes for it. Yeah, I'll write it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So at this point, we can say T1, T2, T3. So at this point, X is equal to 0. At this point, X will be equal to LA plus LB plus LC. So individual terminologies we can derive. Okay. So now let us write down the expression for it. And if I want to draw a resistance diagram for a composite wall, how we are going to draw a resistance diagram for a composite wall? So in a resistance diagram, first I will take the nodes. Okay, these are the 3 nodes. Okay, in between there will be a resistance. In between there will be resistance. Okay, similarly, there will be heat flow Q coming out, heat flow Q. This is my point which is having temperature T1. This is temperature T2, temperature T3, temperature T4. Then here it will be having RTH for A, RTH for B, and this will be having RTH for C. Now what is the term RTH? In the previous expression, previous derivation, we have seen that thermal resistance is nothing but L by Ka. So if I want to write RTH A, then it will be LA upon Ka into area. Area of the block will remain same because it will be having same cross-sectional area where the heat is flowing. Now for this we have to arrange the equations. Okay, so in this we have seen the diagram. Any difficulty in the diagram? Okay, I know that no one will respond. Okay, everyone has muted their phone and kept somewhere. Q is equal to, if I want to write down the expression for heat conduction through a single wall for a wall A, then it will be T1 minus T2 upon LA by Ka into area. The same equation we are using this. Okay, here we are using the same equation. Q is equal to T1 minus T2 upon L by Ka. Same equation we are using, and we are writing this equation for material A. Now same heat will not change. Heat which is flowing from material A, same heat will be flowing from material B, and same heat will be flowing from material C. So now heat flowing through material B, that is from 2 to 3, so it will be T2 minus T3 upon LB upon KB into area is equal to, for third material we can write T3 minus T4 upon LC upon KC into area, right? So we have written the thermal, that is heat flowing through individual material. Now if I want to rearrange the term, we are going to find out, rearrange the above expression in the temperature form. So if I write T1 minus T2 is equal to, what will be the expression? So if I rearrange this, it will be Q into LA upon Ka by K into A. So any difficulty in this? So how we have arranged this? See, T1 minus T2. So we have to take it on the other side. So it will be divided by Ka, and LA will be multiplied by Q. Similarly, we have to write for T2 minus T3 is equal to Q upon LB KB into area, and T3 minus T4 is equal to Q upon LC KC into area, right? So this term T1 minus T2, T2 minus T3, T3 minus T4 has been written. Now let us add this equation. So I'll say that this is my equation 1, this is my equation 2, this is my equation 3. So if I add these three equations, so how that equation will become? So while adding, so it will be T1 minus directly T4. So in between terms will get cancelled out. See what will happen, T1 minus T2 plus T2 minus T1. So plus T2 and minus T2 will get cancelled. Minus T3 and plus T3 will get cancelled. So only first and last term will remain. So it is T1 minus T4, which is equal to, we can take that Q term common. Okay, Q term we can take it common. So it can be LA upon KA into area plus LB upon KB into area plus LC upon KC into area. Okay, after getting this expression, so we can get the equation for Q. So what will be the equation for Q? Q is equal to, area we can take it again common, T1 minus T4 upon, this will be LA by KA plus LB by KB plus LC by KC, right? So if I want to write the general equation for it, Q will be equal to T1 minus, suppose if there is n number of layers, so it will be T1 minus Tn plus 1 upon summation of 1 to n, okay, L by Ka. Okay, so this will be the relation. One second. Okay, so this is the general equation for composite wall. If I want to write down the equation for composite wall, then Q is equal to A T1 minus T4 upon L by Ka plus L by LB by KB plus LC by KC. So if I want to write heat conduction through composite wall, I can easily write. Okay, now the next term comes, how to write down the expression for heat conduction through cylinder. So before that, before going to the cylinder, let us see the one more terminology that is called as overall heat transfer coefficient. What is? Overall heat transfer coefficient. Okay, now what is this term overall heat transfer coefficient? We'll see. So in conduction, if the wall cannot be alone in the conduction, right? So surrounding to it, there will be some convection which is going to happen. Now how we are going to treat that if there is a convection is going to take place? So convection and conduction, and these two terms comes together, we have to write down the expression for that. Now this green is nothing but there is a convection, the air is surrounding the wall. Okay, it is, the air is there, then there will be wall, and on other side of the wall again there is a air, and the temperature at the various points. At this point it is having a temperature THF, this is the temperature of hot fluid, and at this point it is having a temperature of cold fluid, TCF, and in between it is having a temperature T1, and this is having a temperature T2. So the temperature will drop like this. Okay, it will go down. Then again it will. So this is called as temperature profile. If I want to draw temperature profile, I can draw it like this. Heat flowing through it is Q. Heat leaving from it is again Q. Okay. Then there is the convection part. So as in place of metal, it is having a thermal conductivity K, right? And the length of the plate or thickness of the plate is L. Similarly, for convection, it will be HHF. This is called as heat transfer coefficient for hot fluid, and this is HCF, heat transfer coefficient for cold fluid. So for cold fluid as well as hot fluid, it will be having the heat transfer coefficient. So now suppose if I want to write down the equation. So for this, we are going to use Newton's law of cooling. Newton's law of cooling states that Q is equal to HA delta T, right? So for hot fluid, if I want, Q is equal to H, okay, A into delta T. Delta T means it will be THF minus T1. Okay, it will be THF minus T1. Always it is from hot fluid to cold fluid. Then heat conduction through. So how the heat is conducting from hot fluid to the wall, from inner wall to outer wall, okay, and then to surrounding. So Q for wall we can write as Ka into T1 minus T2 upon L. So this is for wall, and again for a surrounding. Okay, the next part for cold fluid, how do you want to write? Q is equal to HCF, HA delta T. A into delta T will be T2 minus TCF. So this will be the heat which is going to flow in the composite with convection. Single wall with convection on both the sides. Okay, so we are having three equations. After that, rearranging the terms. Okay, we are going to rearrange in the above equation in such a way that we are going to write down in form of temperatures. So this can be written as THF minus T1 is equal to Q upon HHF into area. Then T1 minus T2 is equal to Q upon QL upon Ka, and the next term we can write T2 minus TCF is equal to, what will be the term in that? Q upon HCF into area. Okay, so after that, adding equation, so we can write this is equation. I'll give the naming to that equation. This is my equation 4th. This is my equation 5th. This is my equation 6th. Okay, equation 4th, 5th, and 6th. After getting this, okay, so we have to add equation. So I'll say adding equation 4th, 5th, and 6th. After adding these equations, we can write THF minus TCF is equal to area, equal to Q, we can take it common. This will be 1 upon HHF into area plus L by Ka plus 1 upon HCF into area, bracket close. Okay, therefore Q is equal to area, we can take it common. This will be THF minus TCF, bracket close, upon 1 upon HHF plus L by K plus 1 upon HCF. Okay, so in this, where is the uniform overall heat transfer coefficient? So if I want to get the equation for overall heat transfer coefficient, so that is nothing but the term 1 upon HHF plus L by K plus 1 upon, so this can be written as Q is equal to Q is equal to U A delta T, THF minus TCF, where what is the term U? Where U is equal to 1 upon HHF plus L by K plus 1 upon HCF. So this term is called as overall heat transfer coefficient. So if I want to write overall heat transfer coefficient, so it is nothing but the resistance between the flow of heat.
Sir, can you please just explain the diagram of this overall coefficient of heat?
So how what happened? See here, at the outer surface there is air. Okay, so wall alone it won't be. So what happened? Inside in the air there will be convective heat transfer. So that is governed by the Newton's law of cooling. So Q is equal to H A delta T. So from THF to T1, right? So from this point we have considered an arbitrary point and a surrounding. Okay, from that point to the outer surface of the wall, right? There will be some heat transfer. So that heat transfer is how much? THF to outer surface of the wall will be having Q, same heat will be flowed, but for that the heat coefficient, heat transfer coefficient is HHF. So that is Q is equal to HA delta T we have written. Then from the outer surface of the wall to the inner surface, it will be again heat transfer through conduction, and then again this will be T2 to TCF will be convection. So heat flows convection, conduction, convection. Okay. So for that we have written three equations: Q for convection, then Q for conduction, Q for again convection, and then we have rearranged the term and we have got the overall heat transfer coefficient. Overall heat transfer coefficient is nothing but it is the inverse of the total resistance. How much is the resistance? So here it is having a resistance of HHF plus L by K plus 1 upon HCF. So that term we have to term. So the simplifying this, Q is equal to UA delta T. U is called as overall heat transfer coefficient. So this overall heat transfer coefficient always changes for the geometry. Okay, if it is having some different geometry, suppose composite wall is there, then again the equation will change. So we can derive that expression actually for various materials. Okay, for geometry.
Okay, okay.
So next which we are going to see is heat conduction through a cylinder, that is a normal cylinder as well as a composite cylinder. So first what we are going to do, we are going to derive an equations for conduction of a cylinder for or what we can do, we can solve some numericals. Everyone has the calculator? Do everyone have a calculator?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So let us solve few numericals. 1 second. Let us solve few numericals on wall and then we'll move to next topic, that is cylinder, composite cylinder and plain cylinder. So your idea will get cleared by solving few of the numericals of wall. Okay, and then we can move to next topic. We'll solve 2-3 numericals on this. Okay, wait, I'll get the numerical. Is that numerical visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So actually this is our numerical 1. Okay. So yes, a wall of a furnace is made up of inside layer of silica brick 120 millimeter thick, covered with a layer of magnesite brick 240 millimeter thick. The temperature of inside surface of silica brick wall and outside surface of magnesite brick wall are 725 and 110 respectively. The contact thermal resistance between the wall at the interface is 0.0035 degrees Celsius per watt per unit wall area. The thermal conductivities of silica and magnesite brick are 1.7 and 5.8 watt per meter degree Celsius. Calculate the rate of flow, the rate of heat loss per unit area of wall and temperature drop at the interface. Okay. So from this, first of all, let us draw the diagram. Okay. So there are how many layers are there? Can anyone identify how many layers are there of wall? So from
So 2 layers.
yes, from material itself, we can identify that it is having a 2 layer. One is made up of silica brick and another is made up of magnesite brick. Okay, which is having a thickness of 120 millimeter and 240 millimeter. Okay, and the outer temperature, if I want to get the temperature, it is 725 and 110 degrees Celsius are the temperature range. And there is one more term which has been added, that is the how much is the resistance, contact resistance. Now what is thermal contact resistance? So while solving this numerical, I will explain the concept of thermal contact resistance along with it. Okay, so let us first draw the diagram and then we'll see how to solve it. So it is made up of 2 layers. One is made up of silica brick. So this one is made up of a wall surface is made up of silica brick. So this one is of silica and the second one is of magnesite. These are the two bricks which is having a thickness. Now thickness always we write it in meters. Okay, we in thermal engineering always keep in mind the temperature will be, if it is a difference in the temperature, we can write it in degree Celsius. If alone temperature is there, then we have to write it in Kelvin, and all the lengths we are going to write it in meters. So this is 0.12 meter and this will be 240 millimeters. So 0.24 divided by 1000. Okay, it is in millimeter divided by 1000. So it will be 1.2 meter and this will be 0.24 meters. So that we are writing it in the meters. Then temperature at the outer surface. Okay, the temperature at the inside surface of the silica brick and outside surface of the magnesite brick. So what exactly is this? Why it is called as inside surface and outside surface? See here, suppose if this is the furnace, okay, and the furnace wall is made up of, we consider there's a rectangular wall, right? So this is made up of a square furnace, okay, and which is having a 2 layers of brick. Here there is, so if we consider the cross section of this, it is made up of 2 layers. Okay, in between there is 2 layers. One is made up, outer surface is made up of magnesite and the inner one is made up of, if I want to show that in the diagram, you can see that here the inner surface of inner wall is made up of silica brick, okay, and outer one is made up of magnesite. So for this, what we do, we take a section plane. We take a section plane. Okay, and if I take a section plane here, if I cut this and if I only consider this much part, then what will be the front view of this? It will be somewhat like this, right? If we cut this, then you will get, right, there will be two layers. So this diagram we are drawing here, okay? We are taking a small cross section of a furnace. So that's why it is called as the inside layer, inside of the furnace. So which is having a temperature of 725 degrees Celsius. Is this concept clear? How what exactly we are drawing here? It is some cross section of the furnace we are considering and we are redrawing it. Okay. So the inside surface is having a temperature of 725 degrees Celsius and the outside surface of magnesite brick is having temperature of 110 degrees Celsius. Inside means what? It is not exactly the inside surface of the silica, it is actually inside surface of the furnace. So that's why it is called as inside surface of silica. So this is the inner side of the furnace and this is the outer side of the furnace. So if this is the inner side and this one is the outer side, so here we are taking inner side of the furnace and outer side of the furnace. Then the contact thermal resistance between the wall is given. So what is the contact thermal resistance? So what happened whenever we attach two materials together? Okay, whenever we attach two materials together, is it possible to attach a magnesite brick and silica brick exactly perfectly? We cannot match. What will happen? There will be some voids or air gap will be present because the surface of that magnesite and the silica brick will not be exactly smooth. So there will be some air pockets, small micro pockets will be there, or some adhesive will be used. If I want to if I want to join that material, then what will happen? There will be some adhesive external agent will be used for joining it, right? Some adhesive will be there. So that will itself will add a resistance, right? There will be some resistance and due to that resistance, there will be temperature drop. So that we can say that here it is having a temperature of T2, right? This will be having temperature of T3 and again it will reduce to T4 and this is my temperature T1. So due to that resistance, what is happening? There is a heat loss. So they have directly given that resistance value, that is 0.035 degrees Celsius per watt is the drop in the heat, or we can say directly it is a thermal resistance for that particular area. So now if I want to write, I will delete this diagram. Okay, I don't want this diagram now. Okay. Undo, yes. Delete this. Okay. So if I want to write the equation for heat, so Q, why we are writing small q? Because it is for unit area. Unit area means area will remain same. So 1 unit per unit area we are writing. Delta T upon RTH, thermal resistance. So this can be written as delta T. What is the delta T for composite wall? T1 minus T4. That is the whole temperature difference upon resistance. The resistance will be first resistance of RTH for A plus RTH for contact, means contact resistance is there. If it is given in the numerical, then only we have to consider, otherwise you have to neglect that term. Okay, so this term we are going to consider. So in that, T1 minus T4 upon the thermal resistance for wall L by K plus contact resistance 0.0035 plus LB by KB, LA by KA. Okay. Now in this expression, what is the temperature? If I want to find out the value of Q, so in this we have neglected the term A because area is equal to A is equal to 1 meter square we are considering. They are saying that calculate for per unit area. Per unit area means we are considering area for 1 meter square. So that's why we are neglecting the area term because it is 1. So now if I write the values 725 minus 110 upon what is the term L for this 0.12 upon K. What is the thermal conductivity for the silica brick? Silica brick is having thermal conductivity of 1.7. So here we can write divided by 1.7 plus 0.0035 plus it is the LB is 0.24 upon 5.8. 0.24 upon 5.8. Okay, calculate and tell me the value. Come on, everyone, calculate and tell me the value. Put it in the chat box. Calculate and tell me the value. How much is the value? So you need to calculate that. Okay, so we have found out the rate of heat loss per unit area of the wall. After calculating this, you will get that. Then the second, if we want the temperature drop at the interface. What is the temperature drop at the interface? If I see the diagram, then temperature drop at the interface is nothing but T2 minus T3. So we need to find temperature drop at interface. Okay, so temperature drop at interface is nothing but T2 minus T3. Someone has posted the answer. Let me check what is that. So 5326.17. Yes, correct. 53. So this answer is 5326.17. What will be the unit? Watt per meter square. Okay, because it is per unit area, so that's why it is having watt per meter square. Now if I want to write down the temperature difference, then in that Q will be equal to, we have to get the temperature, so T1 minus T2 upon LA by KA is equal to T3 minus T4 upon LB by KB. We are writing only for two surfaces. Composite wall we are considering T1 minus T2 upon L by KA, then T3 minus T4 upon L by KA. So this term we have written. So already the Q is known to us, T1 is known to us, L by KA is known to us, LB by KB is known to us, then T3. So first equate this, get the value of T2. Okay. First get the value of T2 and then get the value of T3. So by solving these equation, for homework you have to do it that. Okay. So first you solve this equation. Okay. After solving this, you will get the value of T2. Then solve this with respect to Q. Then you will get the value of T3. After getting these values, you can calculate T2 minus T3. That will be your answer. Okay. Any difficulty? Can you do that? Okay. Q is known to us. See what are the terms which are known to us in this equation, and let us do that. Q is known to us, T1 is known to us, L is known to us, K is known to us. Only unknown is T2. So you can calculate, because Q is equal to, so we are going to equate these two equations. Then again, Q is also equal to T3 minus T4. So T4 is known to us, LB is known to us, KB is known to us. So only unknown is T3. So from this you will get T3. From this equation you will get T2. So difference you can easily calculate. That will be the temperature drop for the surface, between the surface. So let me check the attendance. 55 students are there for today's lecture. I will fetch the attendance. 1 second. Export. Yes, there is a query. Yes, Bhavik. You raise the hand. Bhavik, any query?
Yes, sir, by mistake.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, thank you. You can leave the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, once again. बोलो क्या हुआ?
Yes, sir. In this case here, T1 we need to take in Kelvin, right?
No, you can directly take it in degrees Celsius because it is a temperature difference. Okay, you can take it in degrees Celsius. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.